Chris, he's helping me out. He's helped kind of, I'm an engineer for my day job, and so I need someone, I always am looking for help to kind of sort through what's going on in here. So a lot of you have come up here on the stage and said and professed, and thank you for being vulnerable, that you are ADHD. I brought proof. So I'll be using my notes, and I've worked really long on a slide presentation to kind of organize my thoughts here. So those are my my life preservers. But we'll get right to it. So you're probably wondering what a convex convoluted indirect task is. Well, I'm sure you can see this is kind of what it is. It's called a Rube Goldberg machine, or a chain reaction. I built this for a local competition here in Fort Wayne. You see them everywhere on the web, different videos. OK Go had a big one. Only 25 million people have seen that one. And they're everywhere. Honda did one. They're popping up everywhere. And so this is kind of how I spend my time. It's my hobby. And from that, I've been building them for about 8 years. And so from that, I've seen improvements in my day job. So I do engineering and process engineering and working with different processes. So kind of my hobby is translated to my workplace. And so I'm just going to kind of walk through the process that I take to build one of these and relate that to what I've learned to improve my performance at my job. So we'll go ahead and get this running here. Chris is helping set it up. And so I'll explain to you really quickly what happens is the so there's a lot of details involved, and Chris is taking care of all of them, it looks like. So I'll explain kind of how it works. It all starts with the pull of a string, and then it releases a marble down the marble maze. You've seen the marble maze around. The marble hits a mousetrap. I love mousetraps. They're very useful. Last year, the theme was build a better mousetrap, and I had 19 mousetraps in my machine. So I got snapped a lot, but it was fun. That mousetrap will pull open this jack-in-the-box, which will hit a lever, which will empty sand out into a cup. That cup will weigh down a little flap of cardboard, and it will connect an electrical circuit that will start a motor, which will pull this trigger out. The ball will roll down a discovery toy. Those are toys that kind of get kids thinking early. And that will kind of let this little gopher guy fall down. I found this at a garage sale. A lot of this stuff is garage sale stuff. My wife is a big garage seller, and I get to go with her, and I buy toys myself. So, we can, she gets more practical things. I kind of get junk. So, and so that will go down and release the gopher toy, which will activate the roller coaster thing. My parents gave me that for Christmas. They knew I was still a kid, even though I was 28 years old. That's what I wanted right there. So I was a happy kid on Christmas Day. That will fly off the track into a car. The car will hit this target right here. It will make the Caterpillar machine go up. And that will flip a remote for a remote control helicopter. The helicopter will kind of fly to the back, releasing a golf ball down the ramp. And then the national task this year was to water a plant. A Purdue team did it in 244 steps. This is only 44 steps. And the national winner is this machine right here, very complex. And it did a great job at that. So I think we're all set. Holy cow. All right, we'll find out if we're not. So it's all good, no problem. So it all starts with the pull of a string. Chris put me in charge of doing one thing, and that's to set the first step. And I didn't do that. So I will set the first step here, and here we go. with a marble. We'll roll down the marble maze. One thing we try to do is to make the machine go a little slower so it's easier to follow. So this takes a while. Comes down and watch this pop up. Ready? Go. Go. It is sitting on the mousetrap trigger. I've never seen that happen. So I'm just going to put my finger on the mousetrap. That will trigger another step early. So one thing you can count on with Rube Goldberg machines is that they will fail a lot. And that's the point. So so this is going right along with my presentation. So the sand is coming out, and in a little bit it'll start a motor. In a little bit. Look at that. Impressive. I want to be patient. Just let it happen. Wait until I run out of sand. And it was supposed to do this. There you go. So that's called the divine hand of God right there. It's great. All right, here we go. I also took in charge of doing this too. Chris has done everything perfectly. The designer screwed everything up right here. So this guy flies off, hits this guy. And there you go, water the plant. I got to be honest with you. It ran really well last night when we tested it, and I was like, well, what if it runs perfect? I won't have a third point. It's got to fail sometimes. Well, I'm glad we had plenty of failures. So this is a typical Rube Goldberg cartoon. And so, so let's walk through the process about kind of how I go about building this. It's to a theme. So this year was to Infinity and Beyond, which is from Toy Story. And so I use a lot of toys. Other people took other things that went to infinity, like time. And so I think the contest, we had a wide range of themes there. And so really this brings out creativity and gets you to think about different things. So when I get a theme, you know, I'm looking for different things laying around my house, or different things that kind of spark, oh, that would be a cool step to have a roller coaster car fly off of a roller coaster track, and things like that. And so from there, you know, I'm trying to think of different things. I get inspired from videos and other machines, and so, you know, just to build the creativity, I'm trying to feed off of other machines and see how they build things, and that kind of gets me thinking a little bit, and that kind of gets things going. I try to think of 3 designs for each step, and try to that kind of builds my capacity a little bit for creativity. It's really an exercise, and so what I do is, you know, I basically let everything go. I say there's no bad ideas, just better ones. So I list them all out and I pick the best one. So that kind of just really not restricting myself to any creative boundaries. I don't want to stifle that or anything like that. And so one thing that comes up is I can be afraid, well, that step will never work, or things like that. This different challenges that kind of creep into my mind when you're really challenging your abilities and you're challenging what you can do. Those types of things creep up in your mind. So I take my cue from base jumpers, people I model my hobbies after, or something like that. I don't know. Don't let fear control you, you control it. So, so from there, once I kind of have an idea about what's going on, I can kind of have the ideas flowing, I start building the steps. And when you're starting to build a step, you usually start with the easiest step. And in this case, the easiest step broke. That was the gopher on this one. So what that really does is it gives me a quick win. You know, you have to start somewhere with these things. You have to get the ball rolling. A lot of ways that will kind of delay a project like this or kind of make it go on forever is just thinking about it and just having it down on paper. So you really have to try to cross that boundary and start to build momentum that way. So I'm looking for something small. And then I also, even if I don't have a really good idea about what the design will be, I just do a quick mock-up. Use lots of duct tape, lots of hot glue. That usually gets the job done. So I get the ball rolling literally. So and so with that, you know, I get the quick wins. I get some physical things to hold in my hand to see how they're working, and that builds confidence. So before I know it, I'm on to building the next step and the next step after this. And so I've been doing this for a while now, and so this whole thing just took me 6 hours to build. And so it was one after another after another. Looked at my watch, 6 hours later, I had a machine. So it just kind of, well, I didn't plan it that way, it just kind of happened. So my big point there is just to build momentum. And then when we have it built, now it's ready to test it. And so you get to, so Rube Goldberg Machines, you know, let me be honest, they fail a lot. I'm sure you've seen today. But there's a lot of practice that you get problem solving. And I do problem solving in my job. Do we have any other problem solvers in here? Anyone solve problems? Okay, very good. So we can relate. Very nice. Okay, so we get to problem solve. And so I've picked up a few key tips about problem solving. The first thing is to see the problem. On a Rube Goldberg machine, it's very easily. You're kind of hovering over it, seeing if it's going to work, hoping it's going to work, and you can see the problem. At work, it's a little more difficult. Usually you have to rely on someone describing a problem, or maybe you're crunching data about a problem. Maybe it's the problem of poverty in Fort Wayne or something like that, and you just have access to some data, but sometimes it's more helpful to go see it and experience it and really understand it better. When operators come up to me at work and describe a problem, I try to take them to the problem so we can see it together. We can get on the same page about what the problem is, and also, two heads are better than one. That'll probably win me a TEDx prize right there. It's a very original concept. You can attribute that to me. So, there it is on a bullet point slide. I wrote it down. It must be original. So. But two heads are better than one. That really helps creativity. You kind of bounce ideas off of each other. You get to, play different things out in your head and just kind of talk through different solutions and you feed off of each other. So from there, once you've seen the problem, you've collaborated with others. Now it's time to actually try to fix the problem. And Rube Goldberg Machines kind of opened my eye to this. I'm an engineer, and what do engineers like to do? Over-engineer, right? Try changing the ringtone on your cell phone without going to 6 different pages, right? For me, it's really reined me back, and so I'm always looking for small, controlled changes. So last night, I had a problem with this roller coaster where the car didn't fly off the track. It would get stuck like right here and just kind of hang up, and that was the coolest step of the whole machine, so I needed to get it fixed, okay? And so I decided, you know what? I'm not gonna pay attention to my message. I'm gonna make a big change. I need this to work now. So I sprayed some WD-40 on these wheels. I'm like, heck, that WD-40 works on anything, right? Just slick that up and it'll go flying, right? No, it actually went slower and kind of gummed up the whole track. So, you know, with having hobbies like this and tinkering with small things like that, it kind of recalibrates you. You know, I just made a small change to the track position, and it works pretty good now. So I think that was the only step that worked today. So, so it's about small controlled changes. And so from there, when you're problem solving and things like that, naturally you'll find your weaknesses. And for me, it's electrical. I'm a mechanical engineer, and that's why my machine is mostly mechanical. I kind of stay in my strengths that way. But when it comes to electrical, and I encounter these problems a lot, I get practice overcoming them. So for the electrical problems, I've had lots of practice kind of troubleshooting what's going on, and I've kind of learned how to work around my weaknesses or find help from friends, different things like that. So, so finally, this is where, sorry, I'm pressing the right button. This is where the passion comes in. So I get really excited about this. It's something I've created. So it's just like, like your kids. You get excited when they accomplish something, right? So it's you get an investment into what you've built with your hands. And sometimes, having those quick wins or having that attachment to something that isn't always here. I mean, a lot of times we're either working on big projects or, things aren't just going right. And it kind of takes something like something small on a smaller scale just to kind of light that fire again. And so this is kind of how I do it. And so I'm challenging you to go find kind of your hobby. So we have a photographer sitting in the front row here. You enjoy taking pictures?
Yep.
There you go. Very nice. It's all good. And I'm sure that translates into your day job too?
Yep.
Okay, very nice. So I guess that's kind of the gist of my message here is go find a hobby, tinker, look for different ways to kind of reignite that fire, reignite that passion, and find different ways to kind of get back to the basics and learn a little bit about yourself and your abilities, and look for those small wins to get the momentum going. It kind of provides a boost to kind of getting that rolling. So, Wikipedia states innovation can be seen as something that does, not that something that is. Innovation can be seen as something that does, not that something that is. Something that is. I wrote that on the slide so I wouldn't mess it up. Oh man, I tell you what. So I guess my challenge here is I have a Rube Goldberg Machine challenge for all of you. Is to go find your passions and find your abilities. Go find something to tinker with and to work with and get excited about, and take that, and those are all little TED ideas in themselves, and link those with other TED ideas you saw here. So we heard from Andrew with loving your neighbor and Tony with giving second chances. Link those so we can have a better community that's all better to live in. So thanks for your time.